Live. What's up, everybody? Welcome back.
Good evening.
Good evening, Nardo. Everything all right? You got it on mute. You got. He might go to
I'm
mute.
good.
Some.
Got
Yeah.
baby sleeping, white noise machine. I'm here.
Okay. Good. Good. All right. So last time we left off at the Jesus letters, we got through the beginning. We're up to the part now, where we're getting to the desert. So basically, in the beginning, he mentioned. Did you know? You notice they never talked about my early life, of like before he actually started walking the earth, and really before he got baptized, because it kind of picks up. It says his birth in some of the Gospels, and then it jumps right to he gets baptized by John the Baptist. He goes into the wilderness. They don't go into details. They just say he was visited by angels. He was tempted by the devil, and that's about all you get. So this is filling in those gaps. So follow along if you want. There's a website on the bottom where you could get the PDF if it's hard to read. I got it here though, so I'm going to put it up on the screen. Let's see how this looks right here. I'm going to read it from the screen, so hopefully if I could read it, you could read it. And there it is right there. It's christhasreturned.weebly.com. There's the spelling and everything. So I'm going to take that off because it gets in my way of reading.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
I was like, I knew we were doing this tonight, so I was reviewing this on that page 3 that we went over the last time. That was really powerful. That one place it's at the top. It said contagious mental infection.
Yes.
Glorified in literature, films, theater, spreading worldwide, creating a global human consciousness similar to their own, expressed as sexual excesses, violence, and perversions. This mental infection first manifests as egocentric modes. I mean, I don't know, man. After I got done like reading some parts of that page 3, I really just couldn't go on. Like I had to just sit there and think about what I just read, because we're living this stuff.
Yep.
I mean, no matter how you cut it, this was written in 2000, and this is 2026, and it's the same. It's the exact same thing.
And last time I said, should we talk about porn? And we never really got to it, but I'm gonna, I'm glad you went back here because we didn't talk about porn that much. This is exactly why your advice to me to stop watching it was the best advice. Some of the best advice I ever got in my life.
Because that all occurred because I was reading what other anons was saying, and they were saying that that's just like a CIA project to make your brain into shit. And then, you read something like that, like I got to throw that into Grok because they've been declassifying a lot of stuff lately. And I wonder if there's anything more that has come out. And a lot of things, our own government. I was just watching a thing today where, I don't know, they were dropping bombs on guys, on soldiers. Like these guys were getting nuked by their own. I mean, forget it. It's just incredible what they've done to us.
Right. So I want to focus on what your thoughts are actually determine your reality. That's the part I'm on with this.
And it ties into, yes.
Of course. Yeah. So if all of us are watching, I'm just going to stick on pornography because it's really important. It was a big part of this. And then this was way before I read this stuff. This was like, I never even got into all this. This is like a year ago now, right? I stopped doing it. And I don't know, it opened up things.
Clears up the channel.
It was actually blocked now with what I do know now. And from reading all these letters, it actually was like manifesting like perversions or the way I thought or the way I looked at women or whatever you want to put it. But, and also if you want to go into the interference with your connection to the divine consciousness, it's a block. It's a block in your pipes. And when you clear those pipes out, you get a clear signal. And that was a big blockage that I think a lot of people have. And like it says, a contagious mental infection, it spreads because it said earlier, if a few people thought like this in the 1800s, it would get overpowered by the global consciousness of everybody else not thinking like that. But nowadays,
we'll continue.
All right, now think of what they've rolled out and have normalized, aka OnlyFans everywhere. like every woman is aspiring to be a successful OnlyFans models, whether it's from their feet to their fucking eyebrows,
Right.
for
All
money.
the yeah.
The perversion of society.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
And
it escalates, right? It escalates. You
it's
manifest
also a
worse and worse.
derivative of Satanism, if you think about it, because all their
Right,
gods or whatever deities that they worship all are
right.
sexual,
You're calling them all
bisexual,
up.
little kids, fucking orgies, whatever the case may be.
Yeah, it
Right.
gets worse and worse, porno. Like if you notice, like, it starts off, you just got to see a woman's ankle, and then it gets to like hardcore stuff. You know what
And
I mean? And
honestly, it
you
creates
know,
in your mind a unrealistic sexual desire that never really occurs the
right,
way that it does in what you're putting into your mind. You
right.
know,
And then when it gets
So,
so socially accepted, if you say that to just anybody, they think you're nuts. They're like, "What are you talking about? Why would I do that? Well, who are
like
you?"
we were saying last
It's like,
time, like it gets accepted where it's almost now. If you don't watch porn, you're a
right.
weirdo. It's
Yeah,
like,
it's like,
you
meanwhile,
know,
you're right.
right.
I mean, I ran into that on Twitter.
hi,
Somebody
my name's Lenny, and I haven't wanked it in a year.
right? They put it on the
What's
thing,
wrong with that
and then you
guy?
look you look at all the comments underneath, and the guy who said it was like totally blown out of the water. And you say to
Right.
yourself, look, nobody understands that simple thing that
It's such
you
a
know
simple thing.
if you're putting that shit in your head all day, how you having a
Now, let me tell
conversation
you,
with God?
it helps everything. It's not only a relationship with it really does. I mean, I personally believe it's responsible for a lot of the
Got to start somewhere.
reasons,
That's
you
it.
know.
And
All
that's a
right,
great
so
place to start for people.
well, anyway, it's a good start. I'm glad you brought that up, Lenny. And that is something that stops you dead in your tracks. That section. That's great. So I'm going to jump ahead though to where we were last week. If
All
you
right, I
want to go
want to
back,
find you exact where you are before you start.
all
I'm
right.
on page 6.
I'm on page 8. Actually,
Okay,
we
Page
got
8.
to page 8.
all right. I'm on page 8, and it starts with my disciples, right at the top.
It does, but we're going to skip down to my early life and experiences in the desert.
Okay, the underline.
Because that's where I read to last time. So we
You
did
got
get
it. All
further
right.
than I thought.
You got it.
So again, like I said in the beginning, this is the part that you don't read about in the Bible. Now, if you don't actually believe that all the this came from Yeshua, then that's okay. I just want you to go through it, and you'll see eventually it could only have come from a higher source. So whatever you want to believe, and this is for everybody really, but let's just walk through his experiences, and you might find some things that you relate to. So I was born in Palestine. My mother was convinced that I would be a Messiah. Contrary to popular belief, I was not a saintly child. When taken to the temple, aged 12 years old, to be interviewed by the chief priest to determine whether I would be fit to enter Jewish religious training, I was rejected for being too opinionated. Bitterly disappointed, my mother took me home again and did her best to raise me in the sanctity which marked her own demeanor at all times. This was an impossible task, for I was, above all things, an individualist and unruly in behavior. I resented my mother's guidance and her attempted discipline. As a youth, I became unmanageable, a true rebel. I rejected my mother's staunch adherence to the Jewish faith and traditions, preferring laughter to sanctimonious attitudes. I refused to learn a trade which would have bound me down to a routine. I chose to mix with all and sundry of the poorer classes, drank with them, knew prostitutes, and enjoyed talking, arguing, laughing, and being bone idle. When I needed money, I went into the vineyards for a day or two and took other jobs, paying me enough to eat or drink and give me the leisure I craved.
All
I'll
right,
keep
now
going.
I
Go
want
ahead.
to get ready. Like in the beginning of like Bill's story in AA, he like
Right,
is talking about his like World War II thing,
right.
and I don't know, he goes to like a visual pass back, a visual like whatever, like a flashback,
Flashback, yeah.
and in the book it says it was an ominous warning I failed to heed, and he was looking at this gravestone, and it said like this slogan, It was something about dying by beer or by pot or whatever, some fucking stupid slogan. But when you were reading that, it kind of reminded me of exactly the way he described his story to entice somebody to feel relatable, like to relate to it. Everything that you just described, I feel like every person has experience being unruly to my mother, this, that, so it was like, at least I found a way easily to relate to that. What you just said, there was nothing unrelatable in
Well,
there
that's great. I think that's the point of it. You're
in
right.
my thought.
Yeah, and he's only
And
12. He's 12 years old, so he's just a carefree 12-year-old running around talking to everybody, right?
Yeah, but
well,
even says
actually,
his
it goes
mother.
into his. Yeah, no, he was a teenager too.
Yeah.
This is like it said. It said I refuse to learn a trade. So he's not 12 years old. He didn't want to get bound down into a routine. If he needed money, he worked at the vineyard. He got his money. He went partying. He hung out, and he liked hanging with the poorer people. He didn't like the stuck up religious class in his younger years. That's what it's
And who
saying
do
so
I like
far.
to hang? I like to hang out with the alcoholics. I relate to them, and
Yeah.
Well,
It's a
yeah,
crazy
yeah.
crowd, right?
Well, I mean, even the people in AA who are recovered, right? You like being around them because you're around people that you could relate to. They've been through a lot of the same stuff as you, right?
well, that's what I mean by alcoholics.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah, not the people that are drinking anymore, because But
Well,
yeah,
they're
I get,
important too. They're
of
important too
course.
because that's how you maintain what you have. Your spiritual alignment is by like the only like as somebody who has been through the 12 steps. Like the only fulfillment, like in further life, is when I apply my knowledge and help somebody else obtain it to then
Right.
like keep the cycle going. Like that's what I've been lacking lately is the sense of fulfillment. And there's other ways I could get it, but the most of my progress usually begins by continuously going to meetings. Same thing with you. Like your progress has been you've been flourishing because you've been continuously diving into the knowledge of God. It's just something that
And
happens.
service too,
And
like going
service.
going to the nursing homes, helping with the church service, meeting new people, being their friends, loving on people all day. That's really been doing it. And people at work, I bring this everywhere I go, and it's it
You get rewarded for it.
Oh, yes, you do. Yes, you do. So let me keep going. I bet you'll keep relating. Ready? And then remember, we're talking about Jesus here. We're talking about Yeshua as a young child, right? For all my many shortcomings as a human being, my careless, easy, indolent attitudes, my self will, and egocentric determination to think my own thoughts, irrespective of what others might try to tell me, I cared about people very deeply. I was deeply emotional. In your present speech forms, you would call me overreactive or over emotional. I had a warm, compassionate, empathetic heart. I was deeply moved in the presence of sickness, affliction, and poverty. I was a staunch supporter of what you may call the underdog. You might say I was a people's person. I lived with them closely in a spirit of camaraderie. I listened to their woes, understood, and cared. So he's I definitely can relate to that. I can't tell you how many times I was called over emotional. And when you're younger and you don't know how to control that, it can become egocentrical and self-will. But there is I don't know, there's like a warm heart underneath there, and like the big-hearted people have a good heart, right? They're not, but even though he said he had an egocentric, a self-will, he also cared a lot, and he had that empathy for the people that were suffering.
Yeah, he had that. And then I remember when I was reading it again. Like whenever it's in bold, like that's a big deal. He's
Yeah.
saying, you know, so that's exactly that part of it was
Yep.
all in
So
bold.
I think you guys could relate to that. I mean, I know
Yeah, I always
not
love the underdog, the guy. You want to see the
yeah,
guy who's not doing as well. Elevate,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So
I mean, you're literally explaining like AA to me. It's
Yeah.
crazy. It literally to a T. Like when you
Yeah.
That's why I knew you guys with that knowledge. I don't have that knowledge. I have this kind of knowledge. I have ancient text knowledge and life experience knowledge. But you guys have life experience knowledge and these AA steps. And it's it's amazing the parallels,
Now that other part it says what I most strongly detested and resisted was the misery, the
I didn't
sickness
I didn't
and
get I
poverty.
didn't get to that yet.
Oh,
But
you
yeah,
didn't get to that? You got
you want to
close
what
to it.
you why don't you read, Lenny,
No, but
from
I'm almost done with it. The sickness and poverty I saw around me. Like these people don't have to be like that. The system makes them like that. You know?
maybe, or maybe we make ourselves like that by buying into the system.
It could be that way too. I mean, but first you gotta at least try to help them out of it. Like that's what he's doing. It's amazing.
Right. So, yeah. So, okay. So, it is important to understand my true origins and my youthful characteristics because these were the goads which pushed and prodded me into eventual Christhood. What I most strongly detested and resisted was the misery, the sickness, and poverty I saw around me. It infuriated me, and I became passionately, vociferously angry to see people dressed in rags, thin and hungry, diseased, crippled, yet heartlessly browbeaten by Jewish leaders who burdened them with meaningless traditional laws and observances, threatening them with Jehovah's punishment if they did not obey. I declared to all who would listen to me that these poor people had enough to bear without being crushed by senseless measures restrictive of pleasure. What was the point of life at all if we were not born to be happy?
Yeah, man. I agree totally. Yeah. It's all that meaningless shit. You know what I mean? You gotta have laws for the big stuff and then
Sure.
you gotta try to get people back right on track. You know, it's the
at
way
some
this is the way
level,
it should be,
nobody
man. This is the way it should be right here. That's the way it
at
should
some
be.
level, you have to realize that nobody's coming to fucking save you. And that's what I've learned. And somewhere along the lines, you have to be willing to accept the consequences of both sides of the situation. you know. But the
Yeah,
problem
but
is that the outside world is very good at creating a reality that really doesn't. It's like fucking not even real, you know.
that's why
And
it's
we
so
we live in reality.
right. It's important to get this stuff out because people need to hear this. I mean, this is where everything is rushing to anyway. This is the whole, as you expand the consciousness of humanity, things get better as long as everybody goes in that direction and stops buying into the illusion of this nonsense that's been thrust upon us, right?
Amen. Yes, yes. I refuse to believe in a just God according to Jewish traditions. The biblical prophetic warnings of Jehovah's judgment and anger against people disgusted me. People were human after all, doing whatever their human natures prompted them to do. They had been born sinful, so why should they be judged and condemned to lives of suffering and poverty because they had broken the Ten Commandments? Where was the sense in such statements? To me, this Jewish belief depicted an illogical, cruel God, and I wanted nothing to do with him. It seemed to me that if such a deity existed, it followed that mankind was doomed to eternal misery. The simplicity and freedom I found on the hillsides, the plains, the lakes, and the mountains refreshed my inmost spirit and quietened my angry murmuring against the Jewish God. Consequently, I refused to believe a word that the Jewish elders tried to teach me. However, during my middle 20s, a new line of questioning took possession of my thoughts. As I walked ever more frequently alone in the hills, my rebellion was gradually replaced by an all consuming longing to know and understand the true nature of that which must surely inspire and respire through creation.
Hmm.
Remember,
So,
I said everything breathes in and breathes out.
yes. So he originally was like rejecting God completely because he didn't buy the version of it he was being sold by the Jewish teachers. But then he realized after walking in nature, there's got to be something bigger than this. There's got to be more to this. So he started to now shift from not saying there isn't one, a God, to saying maybe they misinterpreted what God is. So now he's on that.
That's such a profound way to look at it.
Yeah. These three got it. Yeah, I mean, he's. You could see where the rift is. It's right here, man. This is
Like,
why.
what would cause somebody's like? I mean, I get it. What causes our mind to think that the way that we do? Like, what makes these things just pop fucking off, and we start connecting dots? But that's pretty, I would say, enlightened way. I mean, and the guy is Jesus, of course, but
Yeah, pretty enlightened, like the enlightened one, right?
yeah, that's a pretty good way.
Yeah, but he's even like turning it back onto the church, man. He's like saying, like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to.
But they know
Like,
they
no
know
wonder
now
why
what they
this-
do.
The wonder why I
Yeah.
lived 26 years without even hearing about this until you ran into this. No, I haven't heard anybody talk about these letters until you found them.
And then you'll see as we go, it lines up with the Bible, with the New Testament. Like that's where it really gets mind blowing. We're not there yet. We're going to just go, right? But we're seeing a turn. So he went from a rebellious youth who really cared about the poor and said, man, this can't be right. How are you guys browbeating these people? They can't even feed themselves. And now you're yelling at them. They broke some law. It's like, come on, like help them up first, And then he finally said, you know what? There is a higher power, but it's being misinterpreted. So I reviewed my lifestyle and saw what suffering my actions had caused my mother and many other people. Although I felt such deep compassion for the weak and suffering, my rebellious nature had prompted much thoughtless and selfish behavior towards my family. So he started feeling guilty, right? My underlying love for them now welled up in me, and I found myself becoming equally rebellious against my past behavior. So now he's like rebelling against the teenage self. Like, okay, I had some good points, but I hurt my parents. I hurt my family. I might have to reevaluate this. I heard talk about John the Baptist and the work he was doing amongst the Jews who came to listen to his words, even from Jerusalem. I decided to visit him and be baptized myself. On my way to the River Jordan, I felt exhilarated at the prospect of being baptized and starting a new life. I knew that despite my unruly emotionalism, that I had also been born with a keen intelligence and a gift for insightful, impressive debate, which I had used willfully and negatively, leading people into unruly arguments. I had thrown my talents away by pursuing a life of self-will, idleness, and pleasure. As a result, I had forfeited all respect from others. Neither did I possess any self-respect. For the first time, I found this to be intolerable. It occurred to me that in the future, I could and must put my natural gifts to better use. Instead of making a noise, perhaps I could find a way to lighten the burdens of those whom I so deeply pitied. Up till that time, I had been of little practical use to anyone. Okay, so now we got to the baptism.
He turned his focus into the church, and then he turned it into himself.
Right.
And now he's going into the desert, right?
Right. That's actually.
But look at that parable right there, going into the desert. It's like no man's land. No, it's you're the lone man in the desert. Because I mean he's probably the only guy in the world at this moment that knows this.
Right, because he's got the guts to question, right? Like we're like Anons, right? We know we've been lied to, right? So we got the guts to question a lot of things people would never question. And these people were very conditioned. This is just the way it is. I'm damned. God don't like me. It's the way it is. But he stepped out. First, he pointed at the church, and I love what my brother said there, Lenny. And then he pointed at himself. He looked in the mirror, and he said, I'm not doing it right. Right? I'm a smart guy.
I'm not helping nobody. That was the big thing, like he was just going along.
He just like
he was of no use to anybody.
He did like a fourth step, fourth and fifth step right there.
He's turning it around, man. He's saying that's it.
He gave it to the source.
Going in.
That is great, man. Yeah. Wow. Great stuff. All right. My baptism. When I entered the water in the River Jordan to be baptized by John, I expected to feel nothing more than relief that I had for once taken a positive step in reforming my behavior. I expected to feel a new determination to go home and astonish my mother and neighbors with my new kindly attitudes towards them. What really happened when John baptized me was an experience completely different to anything I had ever thought possible. I felt a great wave of tremendous energy surge through my body. I was literally stunned by it. As I staggered out of the river, I felt myself elevated in consciousness in a
Bro,
most
what?
extraordinary way. A great inflow of glowing happiness uplifted me to a state of ecstasy. I was enraptured and aware of a great light. Stumbling, I moved away from the river and walked and walked. Not knowing where I was going, I continued on, unseeingly, into the desert. Please note, my 6 weeks in the desert were a time of total inner cleansing of my human consciousness. Old attitudes, beliefs, and prejudices were dissolved.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
He removed his shortcomings.
Yeah, he just completely he died to himself, and he literally was born anew. Like he says, you must be born anew.
You know, it's
You know.
crazy when you were saying like he went to this overwhelming consciousness. I literally at that exact moment like was thinking about the AA book, and you know, there's a little page in the back that talks about God consciousness. And as I finished God consciousness in my head, you fucking finished. And then, like when he was describing like the little pieces of that experience, like what it felt like to have a spiritual experience, I started to get those little tingles because like it just fucking, you know, it landed in the same fucking timeline in my brain. And as you're speaking it into, you know, on the from the fucking paper, you just finished my thought. It's
Wow.
fucking
Well,
weird, dude.
that
Fucking
is that
weird.
is. I mean,
Well,
this is
they
the Holy
say it's all
Spirit.
coded, like everything,
But then
like
you go
is
back to my arc too, you know. It's like this fucking. There's so many intersecting dimensions. And then you, when we started this, you talked about. I think in this, it talked about us being an antenna, and then boom, my antenna starts fucking shooting off up.
Yeah,
The
man.
arc, the arc. We're all shooting up towards this arc, and we're all meeting it at the same time. And the fucking source is spitting the information out back to us, and we're receiving. It's crazy, bro. And I feel it happening at the same exact time, so I know why you get a little crazy when you feel it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's fucking empowering, you
That's
know,
great,
because
man.
you know.
Amen. Praise God. Amen. Okay, so the time has come for me to share with receptive people all that I felt, saw, realized, and understood to help people abandon the age old imaginative pictures of a biblical deity. I will avoid referring to God by that word and use a terminology designed to stretch your minds and embrace what it really is beyond all earthly form, color, sound, emotion, and comprehension. This terminology will become ever more meaningful as you persevere in meditation and prayer. Okay. So he's going to stop using God. Not for any, I mean, I use the word still, but in the letters, he's doing this for on purpose because he wants you to start thinking differently about everything that you've learned so far. And if you could start, so we're going to use a different word, and we're going to start expanding our consciousness and trying to get more in tune with divine consciousness. Okay. All right. Here we go. What I felt in the desert. I was uplifted into inner radiant light and felt vibrant and wondrously alive with power. I was filled with ecstasy and joy, and I knew beyond all doubt that this power was the true creator out of which all created things had been given their being. This glorious interior harmony, peace, and sense of perfect fulfillment, needing nothing more to be added to that beautiful moment, was the very nature of the reality, the creative power, giving life to creation and existence. So he's going with creator right now, creative power. Now there's a lot of bold letters on this one.
So
What? Go ahead. Yep.
sorry, cross reference. To AA, you know, when he starts to describe to the people that are reading the book on how to conceptualize a higher power, he labels it like a creative intelligence. You know, fucking.
I
You
mean,
know.
it's dead on. I told you, Lenny, when I came to Nardo down there. I went to their house and we were talking about. He was talking about AA and he was. You probably didn't. You're like, why is Uncle Mike like is? Looks like he's like shocked because I think I just finished these letters and you're like you're like quoting this stuff. And
Now,
by
I've
the
been
way,
to a lot of fucking. I mean, backstory. I was in jail. I didn't have any meetings. So I was forced to read the AA book over and over and over and over and over and over. And I've been to a lot of big book meetings, and I was
right.
battling a lot of things at the time. So I drilled this book into my head, and it changes the way that you think, and then it actually draws. Back to what you were just talking about, how old ideas replace new ideas replace old ideas, and sometimes there's things I believe that you know so even there's things that you have that you try to get rid of and you don't know why you have them. It's not I believe that the source wants you to have these things. um there's always going to be something to come over. That everything's not going to always be peachy happy. You know what I mean? Like there's always going to be a battle to be won, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, it all depends on, everybody's different, right? So
Mhm.
I'm not going to put words in your mouth or anything, but your journey has lined up with this. And I'll tell you right now, after you're done with these letters, this will line up with books that were written 1800 years ago, longer than that. So it's just a fact. Like, where did AA come from? Right? You told me it was a spiritual solution to a hopeless problem, right? That's what
Yeah.
you told me. So what was the spiritual solution?
Well, that's what
Yeah.
I like. I'm
You know
drawing
what I'm saying?
connections back to is that maybe like I don't know. You've talked about like the way this message was received through, well, I don't know what you called it, a coder,
He called it a recorder, and somebody who was for 40 years deprogrammed from the mental control, the mind control, whatever you want to call it. Like he needed a truly receptive person to write this down and to go. That's what it says in the introduction. We skipped the introduction because I didn't want to get into the nitty gritty with it. I wanted to get right into this. Plus, this is really where you learn a lot, and then you could go back and you'll see when you're done with it. This can only have come from one place.
well, the moment can't happen unless you personally experience powerlessness and you finally throw your fucking hands up and you say, I don't know, and then there has to be also like for me, it had to, like I said a prayer. And then like an hour later, like something inexplainable happened, that made me
Right.
draw the conclusion. Like it fucking popped my mind. Like, and I had that experience that we described where it was like overwhelming, but that day I changed. It was like I don't know, like I saw that God was real and He just answered my prayers, not the way that I wanted it, but the it was essential in my life at that moment to happen, and it changed my life.
There is some readings about near death experiences that it brings this stuff out as a necessity, and almost like you said, you have to hit a certain rock bottom for some people, and it's really, you don't have to hit the rock bottom.
You don't.
You could, but you have to surrender completely to it.
Yeah,
And usually people need a life threatening thing to happen to surrender. But like
it's because of our ego.
because of our ego. So, but if you could defeat it without that, you don't have to hit the bottom. So that's the good news I have for everybody watching. I mean, you could get there without completely destroying yourself. Unfortunately, some of us morons need that, like me too. I hit the bottom, maybe not the same as you, but I think I had a very similar experience in my own life, and you had yours with yours. And so but you could get there without it. I truly believe that if you have to surrender completely, right? That's and one of the guys that I go to the nursing home when we preach to the nursing home, when I help out, he told the story of the guy who actually wrote Amazing Grace. And he said this guy was hated by he was on a boat, he was a sailor. Everybody hated him. He was like the biggest jerk. Everybody on the crew hated him. Finally, they had enough of this guy. They threw him overboard and they were watching him drown. And this one guy felt bad, but he really didn't like him anyway. Shot him with a harpoon, dragged him onto the boat, and let him stay on the boat and bleed out to death. And they left him. In that moment, he surrendered. He completely surrendered to God. and then he made his way to somebody that could help him, and he got healed. And after that, he started writing songs, and then he wrote Amazing Grace, which is one of the most loved songs and is still around to this day. So again, a good example. This guy was truly lost. He hated everybody, and then it took him almost bleeding to death on the deck of a ship to surrender, similar to a drug experience or whatever you want, a life near death experience. And it's a good example of that, you know.
Yeah. I don't want people to get conflicted when I talk about the alcoholic. Like when I for some reason when I receive God's message, I receive it in the message of like what I've learned in AA, but it really means much more than that. Like I see the spiritual solution in it, that much more than just it being an alcoholic thing. You know, it does correlate over into all humans if you could understand it. I just need to find probably a better way. But like when it comes to this, is like everything that I've learned in AA totally lines up with this, you know, and it's the same exact thing, and I see how it's similar, you
Yes.
know.
Yeah, it's a spiritual experience you had, you know, and I've had that as well. So, all right, so I'll keep going. What I saw, realized, perceived when in the desert, I was lifted into another dimension and of consciousness perception, which enabled me to see the truth concerning life and existence. I saw lucidly and clearly what was real and what was false in man's thinking. I realized that this creative power I was experiencing was infinite, eternal, universal, filling all space beyond sky, oceans, earth, and all living things. I saw it was mind power. It was the creative power of mind. There was no point where this divine creative power of mind was not. I realized that human mind was drawn from divine creative mind, but was only a candle lit by the sun. So I lost Lenny there, but so basically he said, there you are. Basically what he's saying is God, the creative power of the universe, the Father, is mind power. And our mind is drawn from the divine creative mind, but it was only a candle lit by the sun in comparison. So our little minds are just a little piece of the mind, the divine creative mind. So, you know, that's a very important point that I see in multiple religions that they're trying to hint at, especially when you get into the Gnostic Christianity.
So now, what
and now
I'm sorry, what I'm thinking of right now is right in the beginning of the Bible. Doesn't in like Genesis, doesn't it talk about the like an explosion or a flash of light? You know, now think of the stars, you know, and all the billions of galaxies, and then think of all the billions of people. Like, are those stars potentially little fragments of consciousness scattered throughout the, you know, blown off into the wind from the one source, you know,
I mean, I don't think they speak about the Big Bang theory in the Genesis, but you know, I don't have the
or a
answer to
flash of
that.
light.
Um, I'm not sure. I'd have to look. Oh, like I just remember in the beginning there was the word, and this actually precedes the word. This is the thought, because no words are made without a thought, right? So this is actually saying this is the source, which is the thought before the word. That much I could say. I don't know about the bang or the stars or anything like that yet, but now I'll think about it. You know, I don't know. I'm never going to say anything I haven't experienced or I haven't read or I don't know. I'd have to look at Genesis again, you know, to answer that. I don't know. But the main point, you said this before, that in the last page of the big book, they say think of it as a mind. Did you say that? A divine, a creative power?
Creative intelligence.
Creative intelligence. So that lines right up with this. I realized that human mind was drawn from divine creative mind, but was only a candle lit by the sun. At times, my human sight was so spiritually heightened, I could see through rocks, earth, and sand. These now appeared to be only a shimmer of tiny motes. He says that a lot in there. That's a shimmer of tiny motes. I realized that nothing was really solid. That's a fascinating way to look at things.
Yeah,
So,
man. This is we're getting into some stuff. This is getting right back to Terrence Howard.
right.
Nodes, and when he recreated freaking Saturn with nodes, remember that the six?
I do.
Points?
I remember that. I remember when you showed
I'll
me
never
that.
forget
Yes.
it, and I'll never forget when he did the whole scale and how it all just keeps replicating over and over and over, and you see it in the micro and you see it in the macro, and it just keeps doing this through every. And that's what's so amazing. And then when you say something and he's thinking something, well, that's why, because we're all connected. I mean, like, and then we could hang this up and turn our phones on, and there'll be 10 things about what we just talked about. It's that crazy at this point. It's like we are getting bombarded with it.
I mean, we're putting this out right now. I mean, and even we got one viewer here, a couple of thousand on Getter.
No, but there's many people talking about this. This is a big thing.
But it's more than the internet. This is I'm actually broadcasting out on a different radio than we even know about. You know what I'm saying? And so are you.
Of course,
guys.
Can you guys still hear me? I found the Genesis 1:1 or whatever. It says, on day one, God creates the heavens and the earth. The earth is formless and empty, covered in darkness. God says, let there be light, and separates the light from the darkness. He calls the light day and the darkness night. Day two, God creates the sky, the firmament or expanse to separate the waters above from below. Day three, God gathers the waters under the sky into one place, revealing dry land, earth, and seas. And he then he produces all the fruits. And then here it says day four, God creates the sun, the moon, the stars to separate the day from the night, to mark the seasons, the days, and the years, and to give light to the earth.
I was just reading that up the page or down the page. It was just
God creates sea creatures and birds. I mean, obviously this isn't what this is, I guess, just a
no, but it's right here.
synopsis.
I realized that the creative power I was experiencing was infinite, eternal, universal, filling all space beyond sky, oceans, earth, and all living things. I saw it was mind power. It was the creative power of mind. So, I mean, people of strong mind who are on the right path could create this on their own without even knowing it, I would think.
Well, check this out. I didn't even get to the next part. So he sees solid things like rocks as a bunch of tiny motes, kind of like he could see the molecules.
Yes, like he's got different vision.
And I realized nothing was solid. Check this out, though. When I had moments of doubt that this could be so, the changes in the phenomena stopped taking place. And much later, I discovered that my thoughts, if strongly imbued with conviction, could affect changes. Could affect changes in the shimmer of motes. This is how he did a lot of his.
You ever run into people who do that to you? Like you fucking have, you have one point of view, and by the time you're done talking to them, you're like, what happened? Like they just kind of like, they changed your whole point of view. I know it's happened to me in my life. Like some people have some of this just naturally. I don't even think that I could see how these very strong-minded people could create like a field around them that they, I mean, it just, I could put it together, but he's putting it into words and, and now he's going to come out with a way to use it for good.
Well, that's right. I'm not going to get myself, but yeah. So, now me and Nardo were talking about this before we started the podcast, how praying with authority, right? What did you say earlier?
Just sometimes you go to like a meeting and at the end of it they do the Our Father and it's like, oh Father, who art when I say it, I put a little conviction behind it, Our Father who art in heaven,
heaven.
hallowed be thy
Hallowed be thy
name.
name.
Thy
Thy
kingdom
kingdom
come,
come.
thy will
Thy
be
will be
done
done
on
on
earth as
earth
it
as
is
it
in
is in
heaven.
heaven.
Give us
Give us
this
this
day
day
our
our
daily
daily
bread,
bread,
and forgive
and
us our
forgive us our
trespasses,
trespasses
as we
as we
forgive
forgive
those who
those who
trespass
trespass
against
against
us.
us.
And
And
lead us
lead
not
us
into
not into
temptation,
temptation,
but
but
deliver us from
deliver us from
evil.
evil.
For thine is the
Is the
kingdom,
kingdom,
the
the
Power and the
power,
power,
glory.
and
and
the
the
glory
glory
forever and
forever
ever.
and ever.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Yes. So, my thoughts, if strongly imbued with conviction, could affect changes in the shimmer of motes, what science presently calls electrically charged particles, and therefore produces changes in the appearance of the rock or whatever I was studying. It was at this point that I came to realize the powerful effect that conviction or unwavering faith had on the environment when stating a command or even a belief. What was even more startling was my mind opening cosmic consciousness realization that all I had been witnessing was really the creative power of divine mind himself made visible in the shimmer of tiny motes. Not only this, its appearance could be profoundly affected by the activity of human thought.
Hmm.
I realized there was nothing solid in the universe. Everything visible was manifesting a different state of consciousness, which determined the composition and form of the shimmer of motes. Therefore, all outer form was an expression of the inner consciousness. Life and consciousness, I realized, were one and the same thing. Life and consciousness. So everything that we see and we feel, touch, smell, and taste is a product of our consciousness. It's very profound statements. And it reminds me of the Matrix, right? Didn't they tell you that in that movie? Like, how do you know what's real? You know what's real. Why? Because you could feel it, you could touch it, you could taste it. Those are electrical signals interpreted by your brain. So again, I'm not saying we could start moving mountains around, but what I'm trying to say is how powerful our mind is,
Well,
and
what he just
how
told me is that we I can move shit with my mind, but I think it's deeper than that. Like when
it's not
it's
You
your
talking
got to
about
get in
mind,
when
line with the source, man. You got to
right?
get in line with the source. Once you do
Yes.
that, you'll know what to fucking do with it. Until you do that, you might not know what to do with it. But when you get there, you'll know. And that's when shit like this is gonna
yes.
happen. And you can fucking do it wrong because you're not really where you need to be. Like everything happens in its own fucking time. That's how this stuff works. And you could see how it's building these letters. Like Michael got to 3 before it was like, and I got the call that, wait a minute,
yeah.
this is
Because at
like,
first, no, I had the same
I can't even
impression.
get through letter 1. I don't know how this guy got through all of this and then went off to all other great stuff. It's quite a story. I mean, this is a short amount of time. We're talking 3 months. We didn't even get out of
Not
March yet.
me. It's not me. That's
Well,
the
whatever.
problem.
It's still coming out of you.
Yeah.
So, through him. Like that's how it all works because we're all doing things that we wouldn't have done 20 years ago. Or
But
like for
we're
some
willing
reason we
to
all
look for
landed
the
here.
right in AA. It says willingness is the key that unlocks all doors. If you're willing to
Father,
look,
give me the will to be willing.
Exactly.
Give
yeah.
me the will to be willing.
And then when all this stuff happens, it just seems like normal happenstance. You know what I mean? And then as you stop using that, you lose, not him. And the more you pull away, the more you lose. That's why you should be going forward towards it, whatever it is. And then you explore, you know what I mean? And that's all we're doing here. I mean, when we first looked at it, you said, oh my God, this, that, and the other thing. But whatever, what's the subject matter saying? That's all that matters.
Yes.
And it makes a lot of sense. And especially that other part in that page 3, man, hit me like I could have just sat there for an hour and thought about what the heck I just read. Like that is a profound thing for this time. No matter whatever happened, we lived page 3. I'll tell you that because I live in it and I'm still living it and I'm still pissed off about it. Because what happened? How did we get here? Like, if you want to look at that crap, you shouldn't have to just pick up your phone, type something in, and boom, there it is. Or you should have to pay $1 at least
Right.
And go look at that stuff where you want. Like, that should not be everywhere. And then you turn on your TV and it's garbage. It's like, come on, what happened here? You know, how did we let this happen? And then you read that and you say, well, that's exactly how it happened, because the collective was shot. They deliberately destroyed the collective. Otherwise, people back in the day would have never accepted that. It would have never even gained ground. They walked us here.
Well, we walked on our
we
own
walked
volition.
ourselves there unknowingly, unbeknownst.
On our own self-centeredness and ego-centeredness.
But they implemented all the things that you need to become wholeheartedly ego-driven.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, like corrupt.
But
like
again,
corrupt.
I am at a different
everywhere.
state of consciousness now where I don't outsource my choices anymore.
Well, that's because
I'm just
you
saying.
got through all the letters. We're only on the first letter, and
I'm
we're
not
only
trying
on
to
page
judge
9.
anybody. I'm not judging anybody. All I'm
Maybe
saying,
by the time we get to the end of this,
no, it's okay.
We'll be there.
I reject it because what can I do? What's my agency? My human agency? What can I do to not allow it? My consent is huge. So even though the whole world's trying to get me to jump off the bridge, I'm not going to do it anymore. You know what I mean? And that's all. And I'm not disagreeing with you. It's just, it's hard for me now because I'm looking at it like, well, I just won't watch porno. I just won't watch TV. Now, some people be like, what the heck? I got to watch TV. What the heck am I going to do with myself? And like, I could get
music.
That.
We got great music, Mike. You should.
We
one of these days, you got to show us your music on this show.
Yeah, I mean, it's on there. You got Mikey V music. We got some original music. I actually just put up. I mean, the Pistis Sophia thing I did.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, he did all of this, and then he went into that and killed that. And we didn't even forget it. We'll never.
It's a whole nother world. And again, it's whatever.
The whole demiurge.
So I want to go back to this though, because what you're right, me as an AA, right? Like, I didn't understand, like, so right, really what AA is it teaches you how to no longer reach for external solutions to internal problems, right? And basically this is the solution for the guy that isn't addicted to substances. You know, like, now that it's in writing here. So it actually, there is a message for all. And I think that my message is derived from this. You know, somebody must have or one of the creators must have stumbled upon this information and found a way to relate it into alcoholism, you know?
Yeah, I believe that. I believe that whoever wrote that or whoever inspired AA in that book and those two guys, what do you call it? Bob and Bill, right?
Yeah.
That they probably were a highly enlightened individual spiritually, and it might not even be Christianity. It probably was though, because Jesus is based on that, right? In a way, at the end.
So cool.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, I mean, this knowledge has been out there, and it just wasn't generally put out there. It was more a niche thing, and people who knew, they knew that how powerful we actually are. And maybe we knew it 100 years ago, and you know, now it's more about how nice my car is, or what my body looks like, or you know, all that kind of superficial surface level things, where they maybe like different cultures were deeper. Well, I don't know. I can't go back in time, but I could tell you that this stuff rings true, and from personal life experience, and you too, you've experienced it, changed your whole life, right? So now this stuff is a little beyond that. We're talking about you actually could change electrical charged particles with your thoughts.
Yes. Yeah. Now, and Mike, one other thing that keeps coming up. I mean, it hasn't happened in the last couple of days, but man, that book of Enoch comes back a lot. And then the whole thing with Ethiopia, and how they preserved and how they would burn in books, like. Listen, that just goes to show somebody like me that you're hiding something.
Right.
Like the information should stay out there, and then you pick and choose, like you were saying, what you're going to do. When people start burning shit, hiding stuff, it's very suspicious. And they actually call that like the Streisand effect, like the more you hide something, the more people go to look for it because of,
or maybe that was the plan all along. Yeah,
I don't know. But I mean, it is very telling when, like you said, keep all the information out there,
right?
and then you decide what's best. They didn't want you to have that option.
Now, did you dip
They
into
took
that
that
book of
option
Enoch
away
yet?
from you.
This kid he read so much. Did you read that book of Enoch yet?
I did. I read that a while ago, though. I'd have to reread it. Right now, I'm very focused on the New Testament.
Yeah.
And Yeshua.
Well, could you give me a couple of minutes of that, or a minute? Like, what did you get out of that? Because I never really like.
I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if I'm ready. I'm. This is fresh. This
All
is
right,
fresh
let's go
in my
with
mind.
this. I'm
But
just
if you
curious
want,
about
we'll
that.
do a show on the Book of Enoch, and I'll read it again.
I got it. Yeah. Well, I got to still catch up on this. I mean,
there's people that are more experts in it than me, but
I find it interesting.
I'll give my 2 cents on it. You know,
Yeah,
I mean,
2 cents. That's all.
you know, I mean, really quickly, I know it's about fallen angels came down and taught man forbidden knowledge, and then Enoch. Yeah.
Well, that's exactly why they would hide something like that. They don't want that out there.
Maybe, like I said,
They figure that freaked the people out.
Yeah, but
right?
Yeah, I don't. Like I said, I don't want to go too far into it, but I know that Enoch, I think was
That's
Enoch.
exactly it, man. Stuff like that, people can't handle it. They, maybe now they can after 2 years of this or 5 years of what we've been going through. But
and interestingly enough, the Book of Enoch is in the Ethiopian Bible. So if you read the Old Testament in the Ethiopian Bible, they kept Enoch in there. They kept it in there.
But they're the only ones. Everybody else,
they're the only ones. They got
tossed.
88 books, and I think we got 66 or something like that. I think that's close to it. Yeah. So they preserved a lot of stuff, because when they were going around burning books, Ethiopia is like, no, we're good, and they kept a lot of the. Now they don't have everything, but they have more than what we're used to. And
I keep seeing that video with that guy talking about what's going to go down in Egypt with those pyramids and that star lining up. And then it makes, I tell you, it connects in my head to a video I saw last year where something went into at the top of the pyramid and all the things came out. Oh, my God. This is what a time to be alive. I mean, this really
exciting.
is.
I'm so happy that I'm living in this time right now that I could even explore this stuff.
Something's happening.
And
bad.
I wasn't chased on a camel with the book, like, don't burn my book. I like this book. Don't burn my books. But anyway,
I mean, he was talking about that too, like how heartless. Like he felt like when he saw those people how they were being treated, he was like, "This is
what
not
is
life."
Right? That's power. They want to keep their power, isn't that? It's it rings true.
And then you got all these
from
people
2,000 years ago.
And then you got all these people that are just sucking wind, no help.
I mean, all these rich high priests and Pharisees, they were the elite, right? They were like, oh, we have the authority.
Now, if you think about it, if you go recycling souls, those souls like that, all those tents and everything, it shows their power. That look at them over there, let them go fight over their last scrap while we sit here and behind this gate. Like that's the mentality they had back then. Right?
Self-centeredness, self-will.
Right, I'm good. I got my gates, my guards. You let the peasants eat last week's bread and forget it.
I would never be able to live like that. Like you put me in that situation, I would not sit there and eat my bread and watch people kill themselves.
Same as it ever was. Just like that song when I was a kid. Same as it ever was.
Same as it was.
Water underground. Oh man.
Okay, so the last thing I said was life and consciousness, I realized, were one and the same thing. It was impossible to say this is life and that is consciousness. Consciousness was life and life was consciousness and was the creative power of both. Wow. Divine universal mind, beyond, within.
And that's exactly what you guys are talking about.
Don't you ever talk over within.
Look,
don't you listen when I say within, I need complete silence when I say within.
Silence.
Within. That is huge.
Right?
The kingdom of heaven is within. That is the good news. Okay.
But you guys actually witnessed it. You witnessed it. You're saying it and he's thinking it. That's the divine universal mind in action, bro. That was it.
Consciousness was
That's what
life.
bugs me out a little bit.
Yeah,
you know?
but that's it. Like he should be happy.
I'm gonna
There
say it
is.
again.
There's
I'm
your
so
proof.
excited.
It's
I'm
a
so
quiet
excited.
proof, like that freaking third song I made, man. It's
Consciousness
just
was life. Life was consciousness and was the creative power of both. Divine universal mind beyond, within, and behind the universe. Love that. I love that. Love
Yeah,
it.
it's powerful.
Within. And you know, and that's the part that they don't that they kind of hid was like the Gospel of Thomas. Go read it. It's amazing. It'll change your thought process. But
But I mean, how blessed are we that we could read something like that and have actual, you know, there's people you read that to them, they wouldn't even have a reaction to it. I mean, absolutely squadouche.
Yeah, maybe.
Thus, it gets us talking and all. It's
Because I've
we're lucky
experienced
people,
it.
man.
You
We're
know,
just
you
lucky.
experience
feel
it.
it?
I mean, if you have real faith,
How you
if you
feel?
really believe, you have it within you. You know. So anyway, let's get to the next page. What are we on? Page 12.
Top
We
of
did
12, I think we're at.
doing pretty good. We're going an hour so far.
Yeah, it went fast, huh?
It did. It did. We were having fun tonight. That was great. I'll keep reading. I realized that people placed highest importance on individuality and form. They could not imagine mind or intelligence operating in any effective way other than through the medium of individual form. Because of this, the Jews had created a mental image of a vast supreme being having all attributes, positive and negative, of a human being. Thus, it was possible for prophets to believe in and speak of Jehovah's anger, threats of punishment, visitations of sickness and plagues in response to human waywardness. But these mental images, I realized, were myths. They did not exist. I perceived in any dimension of existence, it was the mind, the intelligence exhibited, which was the all-important factor relating to creation and man himself. Therefore, Genesis should be rewritten. Before creation was universal mind, creative power behind and within creation itself. Again, like I said before, God said, "Let there be, let there be."
Yeah, and when
Before
you start
he
saying
said
things
it,
like that,
before he said it, he thought it, right? And I think we could all agree that before you say something, you think it. So
we got to read that one more time, man. Let
Sure,
me read that.
you do it. You got it. Go ahead.
I realized that people placed highest importance on, and then it says in bold, individually and individuality and form, period, right? They could not imagine mind or intelligence operating in any effective way other than through the medium of individual form. Because of this, the Jews had created a mental image of a vast supreme being having all attributes, positive and negative, of a human being. Thus was it possible for prophets to be in and speak of Jehovah's anger, threats of punishment, visitation of sickness and plagues in response to human waywardness. But these mental images, I realized, were myths. They did not exist. I perceived that in any dimension of existence, it was in the mind. It was the mind. The intelligence exhibited, which was the all important factor relating to creation and man himself. Therefore, Genesis should be rewritten. Before creation was universal mind, creative power. Wow, that's incredible. So he's saying, wow, okay, wow. And that goes to the other side.
So, right in the AA book, it tells you that the disease is centered in your mind.
And Jesus says the in your mind is the treasure.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like what once was become like when once was the biggest problem. Like, you know, your thoughts are important. You know, you could really think yourself into some. At least I think myself into shitty situations a lot of the time.
You could think yourself into great situations too.
Yes,
That's the good news. That's
well,
the good
that
news.
was like the moral of the story. You know, is that
Right.
if you could hone the craft, is that the one thing that once was the biggest problem becomes a huge asset.
The asset. And
The
according to
asset.
this letter, the divine asset.
Yeah. Well, not a lot of things have what we have. The you know
Correct.
reasoning isn't natural even in humans nowadays. You know.
Well, it is a capability of humans, but we don't. Some of us don't use it, right?
Yeah, well, they learned how to shut them off, give them sports, make them addicted to gambling, make them addicted to this and that. And by the time you're done with all your addictions, you got no time to think about this shit and making money and then arguing with your
Don't forget
girlfriend
the phone. Don't forget the phone.
and your
Constant
phone and
scrolling,
all that
constant
garbage.
thumbs up, thumbs down,
Right,
constant news, constant input, constant
right.
TikTok videos. When do you have time to actually sit and meditate?
But I
and
gotta
think?
say that, listen, man, when that shit gets in your head, you always got your prayers. I mean, for some reason, that Our Father and the Hail Mary, you do a couple of them, I don't know, it gets shit back on track quick. Like that's the thing. It's like once you learn that those prayers are there for a reason, and
That's
then
how I
it
learned to break habits, is
yeah,
with those prayers.
And
like if you
habits are actually what defines your reality.
right, if your mind is running away with you, just hit it with some prayers and boom, you're back. Or turn on something that's, positive or whatever, and it goes away. It's like once you know that trick, you could just get back on track quick. You say it's happening again, you know what to do. Boom, and you do it. Now, so we only got through one paragraph, man. That was the greatest paragraph I've read it.
It was good. I mean, there's
But
so
the one
many more,
before it
guys.
too, though, that was
There's
like, wait a
so
minute, so
many
that was
more.
12,
These letters are
11.
jam packed, and it actually said in the beginning you should stop and meditate. You're actually doing it right, Lenny. Like you should stop and meditate on these things and not just rush through it. And
Especially the nice weather's coming. It's nice outside. You go to the lake or whatever. You
yeah,
read this stuff.
take one of these bold
And he gave
sections
you the key
and
too,
just
right?
keep reading it.
I mean,
And
go
like
look
really
for the
absorb
ones
it.
with all the bold letters. I mean, that's where a lot of the sources landed, boy. I tell you, it
Right.
was on the
Well,
top
I read
of
it
the
all. I read it all. But yeah, the bold parts are where you could sit there and sit at the lake and you could meditate on it, and you could
Absolutely.
go over it. Yeah, this is amazing stuff, guys.
The AA books like that too. When you read it, you pick it up different parts of it. And I'm sure people find that with their Bible too. They pick up different parts that it's always talking to you. And these letters are kind of getting like that too. They talk to you, man. And you keep having tie-ins to the AA book, right, Len? Everything's screaming AA book.
Everything is screaming AA to me.
And
Boy, just
AA
like
screams spiritual enlightenment to me.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly what it's because the solution is solution based, spiritually solution based. In step 3, turn your life over to a loving, caring God as you understand Him. Like this is no longer coming from me. I'm giving my life over to the hands of God. And if you could find the whole battle is being able to detach from this life and totally give your life to the hands of the care of God. And on the other side of that is all these great things. And if you don't do that, the attachment to this world ends up causing suffering and I don't know. I start this becomes too much for me, and I start to be attacked by it.
That's all it's about too. I love that you said attachment. Like that's really, and it's funny, like, if people say to me like, "Oh, you're so spiritually advanced." I'm like, "No, I'm not. I just detached a lot more." That's it.
Yeah.
I'm just like you, and all I did was I started detaching from the hooks that are in me from this world, and that's what happens. You get like bogged down by the world. And the more you detether, as some of our friends would say, the better, the better, the easier it is, to connect with the. I just want to say a quick prayer. I'm just going to say, Father, please give everyone who's listening and everyone who's contributing to this, the to detach from all the hooks of this world, and to find truth, and to have a clear mind, and to turn to you, Father, to turn to you to find the truth in this, and to find their own journey, and to have your peace. And I'll say that in Yeshua's name. Amen.
All you need is a little mustard seed.
That's it.
All right.
All right, so I'll keep going. The last thing that everybody loved was before creation was universal mind, creative power beyond and within creation itself. Having seen so clearly beyond all dispute that the creative power of universal mind was everywhere, within the infinity of the skies and active within earthly forms as well. I was inwardly directed to look around me and saw only gravel and rock. Then suddenly I was presented with a picture of a beautiful land in which were growing every conceivable plant, shrub, and tree. Even birds flitted in the trees and animals grazed the grass. Watching this vision with amazement, I saw that plants and trees, every one of them, and yes, even birds and animals, in reality were composed of hundreds of communities of infinitely tiny entities. Your modern scientists call them cells, working continuously in an entirely harmonious spirit of cooperation to produce the substance and various organs of the inner system and the outer appearance of the completed living entity. Now, this is in bold. I contemplated this wonderful activity for a long time, although time was no longer of any importance to me. As I gazed and gazed, I thought, who would have guessed that within the outer covering of fur, feather, skin, there was such intense activity within tiny communities of entities working together to live life, form, nutrition, healing, protection, endurance to the bodies of so many different species. It was the intelligently performed work which attracted my attention. So now he's noticing that even a bird flying by is made up of all these little entities that are also working together in perfect harmony just for that bird to fly. So he's seeing beyond, he's deeper than surface level now. He's seeing that we are actually made up of a million cells working together, and all your organs are made up of a million cells working together to the same goals. And just like we as people are a bunch of cells working together with our connection to get this world into a better place, or
Unity.
the opposite. Unity.
Unity
Unity.
consciousness.
Unity. Yeah. So if we all think of each other, so we can't be like Lenny said, we can't be that guy in the tent watching everybody kill themselves and being like, I got the bread, I got the best food. That isn't what we're talking about here. Because if that was the case, that bird wouldn't even be able to fly. The only reason that bird could fly is because all the cells in its body are working together and they're not being selfish. There's not one cell in that bird that's being
Well,
selfish.
they have one common mission, though, right?
Right.
You know, and if you think of like the problems in the world as a whole, for us to, you know, like our body's almost like fighting off, or like the unity. It's like all the little organisms need to work together. Right now, me and you are as three pieces of the organism are working tirelessly to obtain this information to fight the cancer. You know, where the fucking T cells, you know, that
Yes.
are, and the more people we awaken,
Mm.
I don't know, it's a crazy thought that I just had.
No, it's not. It's actually genius what you just said, because that's a great way to look at it. So if there was one cell in that bird that was being selfish and egotistical, it's basically cancer for the bird. It has to be
Yeah.
cut out. It has to be put back in line or whatever. So yeah, I think that's a great way to look at it. We're the T cells, and if there's more T cells, then we'll beat this cancer. You know?
That's amazing thought. Wow. It's pretty crazy. What like three people on a reading a letter could do. And we should do a 5 minute break of music. Get a drink.
All
Let me
right, yeah, I'll
see.
take a break. I got to order some food. Yeah, let's put some music on. Let's take a break. Guys, a great show so far, man. I think it's working out great tonight. I hope you guys are enjoying it too.
I'm having
Um,
fun.
yeah, this is great. What do you want to play? You want to play some Nardo 3?
I'd play the new one, another day in the life. Fucking
You want
awesome
that
song.
one? All
I
right,
love
all
it.
right. Let me
I
see if I
love it.
could let me see what I could do here. Hold on. See, share screen. All right, hold on. I got to get you up. Nardo.
Nards.
There you are. Another day in the life. Okay.
It's another day in the life.
So hopefully it'll pay. Let me make a little playlist. Hold on, let me see. Quick playlist. We'll make a new one. New playlist. Another day in the life. Let's see what's how do I go? Let's see. Sorry guys, I'm trying to make a quick playlist. Let's see. Let's get this. I'll just do some of your songs. Day in a life.
Yeah, let them rip, man.
New playlist. Day in a life. All right, so we're gonna play a little Nardo 3. This is his Spotify channel. I don't know if you got the banner you could put up while I'm doing this. I'm just gonna put your top 5 up there right now.
All right, cool.
Let's do that. All right. So, let's see here. I'll share it. Here we go. Take this down. Take this up. Tell me if you can hear it all right. What? All right, we'll be right back, everybody.
The road that I am, the road that I need. Each and every day I pray to draw closer, Lord, please. I want to walk with you, yes, my spirit's so hungry. You're living water for my soul when it gets thirsty. Without you, there's no me. You're the breath in my lungs that sets me free. Sometimes the world is dark and I just can't see. With these demons surrounding, pulling me to negativity. But I believe, yes I believe, I said I believe. I'll stand on my own 2 feet, won't bow down on one knee. Fight with all of my might till these demons flee. A light shines bright, bursts through and I believe. Out of darkness comes light, from twilight to the heights. Spiritual warfare raging all through the night. Said thank you to my God, now I finally got it right. I fight with all of my heart, soul and mind. Watch this feeling, my love for you a hole in the ceiling, giving myself to you from the essence of my being. Sing to my Lord songs of love and healing. One Jesus now, so it's time we start revealing me. No one or temptation dragging me down. Burn away my pride, God's heaven bound. Scripture food for my soul, let it rain till I drown. Thunder, let the mercy come down. For years I was chained, lost in addiction's grip. Struggled in the darkness, couldn't shake the trip. But I made my choice on that day I went under. Surrendered my heart to Jesus, no more running thunder. He walked me through the storm, taught me self-control. Discipline from above made my broken soul whole. Without you I'm nothing, but with him anything's possible. In faith I'm unstoppable. Free will decision, I committed my life to the King who saves.
Hey, you there? Where are you guys?
Through all the strife, watch cleaning the water rising up. Thank you, Lord Jesus, forever I'm yours to win. Strip away the layers, reveal your light within. Give yourself up, repent. Let the new life begin. No slave to your sin, and you don't even know.
All right, what happened? You guys shut off
I don't know why it keeps doing that. It's like I was doing it on my phone. It's doing it on my computer.
That's all right. We're back now.
I've been making some.
Did Nardo, was your music playing? Did it go through?
I started to hear the first song and then it cut out on my phone.
Let me see here.
Here it is.
Again, coffee spilled on my only clean shirt, man. Sun's too bright, but I'm half asleep. Stumble through the rhythm of the street. Check my phone, got a message read. Don't be late, it's already said.
All right, I think I'm back. All right.
I'm out the door.
Welcome back.
Song, but I've heard it before.
Yeah, I got some pop-up about Google Chrome.
Oh, yeah?
App bundle. You'd like to access to record your system audio. I'm going to say don't allow, right? So I don't know what the hell to do.
Got that upstroke feel in the air.
Oh, wow.
Let it bounce, let it take me there. Just another day in the life.
Yeah, that was the
sun
choice.
goes
Nope.
down, but the mood stay bright. Every little thing gonna be just fine when the rhythm hits on the offbeat time.
What's going on in the world, man?
What's going on in the world?
So
Wow, this shit's fire, bro.
Good
I know.
stuff, Lonnie. Really
Boss
good
man
stuff.
talking, but I drift away, thinking about the band gonna play tonight. Clock
Joe
hands
Kent
moving
live.
away
What the hell?
too
Somebody got a
slow,
space
but
for
my
Joe
head's
Kent
in
in
a
it?
different show. Lunch
Nah,
break
he ain't
walk with a swinging
Bullshit.
step. Hear that rhythm, yeah, it ain't lifted. City noise got a ska backbeat. Turn the whole block to a dance floor street. Lean with the groove, don't you fight. Every little thing gonna line up right, wrong or right, day or night. We keep it moving in black and watch another day in the life. Oh yeah, skanking through the trouble, don't care. Got that upstroke feel in the air. Let it bounce, let it take me there. Just another day in the life. Alright, sun go down, but the moon stay bright. Every little thing gonna be just
Check the
fine
bridge.
when the
Check the
rhythm
bridge.
hits on
Bridge.
offbeat time. Then pick it up, pawns on the rise. Feel that jump, no compromise. Kick and snare, gonna hold it tight while the guitar chops all night. Whoa, don't slow down. Spin that trouble right around. Whoa, hear that sound, lift your feet up off the ground. Just another day in the life. Oh yeah, turn it up, let it fill the air. Every step got a groove to share. Feel that bounce everywhere. Just another day in the life, alright.
Slow it down.
Laugh it off, keep the vibe inside. Even when it don't go right, I
Come on.
baby.
Yeah, dude, that's some. Whoa,
That was
that's a really good song, man.
shit, right?
Yeah, I like it's got so many different parts to it and everything. It's great.
I know. I was like mashing it up and fucking going nuts with it, bro.
Yeah, man.
And then I
So-
got that.
Follow Nardo3 on Spotify, man. He's putting out some good hits. You could follow me on Spotify too. I'm putting out a lot of music too. I've been putting out some albums. Some actually, if you're interested in looking into Gnostic Christianity, there's actually I put out an album. It's really cool. I don't know if I got to tell you guys about it. It's this one here. So basically, I took all of the Psalms of Sophia. They call them the repentances. And I got them all put to like religious music. And then also after the repentance, she does praise hymns. And you can listen to this and you're actually reading Pistis Sophia. It's pretty cool because it's actually like a performance.
In a holy frequency too, right?
Well, I mean, it came out like classical, like choir kind of music, but I did all female voices for Sophia. And then, so that was pretty interesting. So if you want to check that out, and then, what else just came out? I got a meditation music. This is all music, no vocals. It's got the Tibetan bowls hitting all the solfeggio frequencies for like meditation purposes. So like those frequencies are supposed to awaken your chakras, but in Gnostic Christianity, it's actually supposed to activate your luminaries. It's the same thing. It's a similar thing. And then it's also got pan flute in it. It's very relaxing. And flute is very good too, because it's kind of like singing because it's from the breath. And and I named all these nice words that you could meditate on while you're listening to them. And then what else did we get on there? And I just put out something interesting. This is actually really cool. I'm proud of it. It's a little nerdy, but it's an old hymn called the Hymn of the Pearl. And I did it in a bard, like kind of like a bard would do it, like a group of bards telling you the story of the Hymn of the Pearl. And I even got like the pan flute in there, and it's kind of like, and it's an actual story from a long time ago, from the Gospel of Thomas.
That's pretty crazy.
It's not the Gospel of Thomas. It was written in that time. I'd have to tell you exactly, but it's an old story that follows with a lot of the stuff that it's different kind of writing. So check that out if you got time. And I also got some blues music, a bunch of stuff, that I've been putting out for a while. I got you played it actually, Spiritual Warrior. That's my top song right now. It's actually,
I love that one.
Yeah, it flew up to the top, which is funny because for a while it was Bungalow Nights, and then Fractal Highway actually popped up to the top. Lenny, you wrote that.
Yeah, that was mine.
Yeah,
I tell you, that Quiet Proof song is really good. That was one of the first ones I made. You listen to that song; it has real good meaning in it, and it has the attributes of how to deal with people when you're not in alignment. It's like it's a great song.
Do I have that on Mikey V Music?
You might. I don't know. It's one of the first ones I made.
I gotta check that out. I mean, if not, we're gonna publish that on Mikey V Music. I know you always talk about that one, so it's definitely deserves to be up there.
It's got like 60 likes, and it's just sitting on that account over there that really ain't doing much.
Well, you want to get back into the letters? I mean, how do you guys feeling? We got more time.
Well, I mean, where did we get to? The end of 12, page 12?
We got to. I think I read this one. Therefore, work was the last one. Oh no. The last bold, the big bold paragraph there. Yeah.
Dad, you gotta close the door down there, man. Getting an echo.
All right.
I just closed my door too. I didn't want to get some sound or anything. Looks like we picked up some viewers on. I think that's X up there. We got like 7 viewers now on X. I know we do very well on Getter, but it's nice to see the other. And welcome. You guys want to say anything? I think we have the chat open, right?
Greetings, Earthlings.
Greetings. So what are you at the top of 13, Mike? That's what I'm looking at here. I think.
Yeah, sorry, I just got we're at the middle of 12, middle of page 12.
All right.
So I'm gonna Unless you guys, anybody want to read? I contemplated this wonderful activity for a long time.
I'll go for that. All right. I contemplated this wonderful activity for a long time, although time was no longer of any importance to me. As I gazed and gazed, I thought, who would have guessed that within the outer covering of fur, feather, skin, there was such intense activity within tiny communities of entities, working together to give life, form, nutrition, healing, protection, endurance to the bodies of so many different species. It was the intelligently performed work which attracted my attention. Therefore, work, I realized, was an integral part of the creative power activity, from the very least entity cell within living systems to the most advanced entity in the universe, man himself. In the systems of all living things, all the labor was under the direction ultimately of the divine creator power, all in bold, in whom were the plans and designs of creation. I saw these plans and designs were in reality, conscious forms, in quotes, and could be termed words in bold, since each word in bold signifies a very special consciousness form, that's in italics. So when we read the intro into this, it tells you that the recorder, as he was receiving it, he had to clear this person's mind for 40 years before he could even feel like he could bring this down to us. And the recorder is saying that certain words are bold, then some are just capital, and then some are italicized. So in my mind, as I'm reading that, I'm trying to comprehend what is being. I'm going to do it one more time. I'm going to go.
Sure, go ahead. Yeah.
Therefore, work in bold, I realized, was an integral part of the creative power activity, from the very least entity cell within living systems to the most advanced entity in the universe, man himself. In the systems of all living things, all the labor was under the direction ultimately of the divine power, in whom were the plans and designs of creation. I saw that these plans and designs were, in reality, consciousness form and could be termed words. Yeah, like telepathy, right? Is it, like, since each word signifies a very special conscious form. Wow.
So basically, the way I'm interpreting that, is that I will. I'll try my best. This is a hard. So basically, the creative power. So what he's saying is, like we said before the break, inside, let's just say a bird. There's a billion cells inside the bird, all working together to have that bird be alive, breathing, and flying, right? So why are they doing that? Well, they're all following the plan for that bird based on the divine consciousness that is controlling the life of that bird. Like he said earlier, consciousness and life are the same. So for that bird to have life, it is under the direction of a consciousness. So every cell in that bird's body is completing the goal of that bird living. And in that way of looking at it, it's work. So like they say, faith without work is dead. That's in one of the letters. Like, I don't know which one, but you know what I mean? So basically,
too.
faith without works is dead. This is the work. The work of the Father is to have life, and that is his consciousness. I know, it's a little abstract, but that's basically what I got out of that.
Yeah, he's looking at all of those animals doing that, but he's seeing them down at the cellular level, which is wild. And then he's tying that in. Like I was seeing it as two separate items, because I don't know. I saw these plans and designs were in reality consciousness form. So they're just flowing with it. They're just doing their thing and could be termed words. Wow. Well, that goes back to the language he was speaking back then too. Like that, like you showed me some films of what's the language? Aramaic, and
Jesus spoke in his time. The people of his time in that area spoke Galilean Aramaic.
right. So I mean, even the language they were speaking back then spoke to you in a different way. You had to flow with it, right? I mean, that was the little, even the words. It was like 7 words that when you translate them, you lose a lot of the meaning of the word in the translation. One of them was sin. You remember that?
Yes.
And it was more of just missing the mark. It wasn't, such a harsh.
Now you gotta also understand, English is an extremely hard language to decipher this stuff into. Considering, like in Spanish, you could say one word and it means a whole sentence, or 2 words and it means a whole sentence. Like, something may be getting lost in translation.
Yeah, so Aramaic is actually a different form of language. It's more related to Hebrew. And Hebrew and Aramaic, they're not like Greek and English. Greek and English, we like to box everything in. Like this is this. This is this. Where those words could mean multiple things. So yeah, there is a whole aspect to that. But in this paragraph, I think what he's saying is a consciousness form could be related to a word. So like, in other words, flight is a word that means flapping their wings and gliding through the sky, right? So that is a thought made into a word. I think that's what this paragraph is kind of saying. The work of creating a thought and having it be a word is what God, the Father, is doing for this bird. Now, again, a bird can't think of his own thoughts, right? Like that's something we special can do. Humans can do that. We could examine our own thoughts, and that's actually really good. That's actually really further along what I'm saying. But if you could kind of realize that the fact that we could even think about how we think is what actually, in a way, separates us from the divine consciousness, because an animal doesn't have that ability. So it's just following all the cells in its body. Kind of like the laws, right? The laws. Exactly. Yeah. So we lost Lenny. I'll keep reading. Hence, the original word in creative power consciousness becomes manifested in the visible world. The word, and therefore the consciousness pattern, remains within the divine creative mind, continually bringing forth its own. I could see then that everything in the universe did live, move, and have its being in the creative power of universal mind, which was infinite and eternal, and was the only true reality beyond all manifestations of individualized form. So, like I was saying, the word is a pattern of consciousness. So, like love, right? When you say love, that means a lot of thoughts behind that word. So kind of like reverse engineering words into thoughts would get you closer to divine consciousness. It's the whole process. And does that make any sense what I'm saying? I don't know. Like I'm trying.
No, it makes sense. I'm trying to like think of the way that I'm thinking of it right now. And I don't know, it's kind of like it's weird.
It's abstract.
Yeah, it's I don't really know how to like put it into words the way I'm thinking it, though.
Right. But the point of the matter is that there is a divine consciousness that's keeping everything in harmony. I think that's a good way to put it. And including even all the cells in your body and your nervous system and your respiratory system. These things are not controlled by your human consciousness. They're controlled by something else. And, science might give you explanations like, oh, it's this and that, but nobody can explain the why. Nobody could ever tell you why everything's working perfectly. And that's the part where I think the divine consciousness is actually the answer to that equation in science. Even no matter how much they try to explain away divine presence.
So there's obviously a divine equilibrium then. And right, you're talking about waves
It's fucking mind blowing shit.
It's a lot.
know?
This is like we were saying earlier, this kind of stuff, you read it and you meditate on it, and you're not going to get the answers right away. I just want to introduce you guys to it, and all the viewers that are watching. I'm introducing you to it, and I'm going to just minimize this and put the link up again because I think it's important. You guys download these at this website. You could actually even watch them on YouTube. Some guy will read them to you. It's like I forgot his name, but
now our point of view may be skewed, but I don't think that we're off the beaten path here or on any of the thoughts that we're having, because it relays to experience.
Yeah, but you can't even get away from it. Like, you put this down, you pick up your phone, you look at a couple of things, and it's going to be this. It's crazy. It's everywhere. I don't know. It's just everywhere. Like, me and this guy talk to each other for like 4 hours a day about this stuff.
Well, now we've unlocked it,
Yeah.
So
but
now
you need the hard copy. I mean, when you have the hard copy, it's different. And then you could just take it in your backyard and go a little slow. And yeah, it's a lot to absorb, because first you got to get by the whole recorded thing. That takes 2 days. Then you got, then you got to get into it. And then you say to yourself, well, what's in there? And you start reading it, and it makes so much sense. I mean, why are these books not available? I mean, what are you hiding books for 1,700 years for? I mean, come on, man.
Right.
It tells you everything you need to know, kind of, when you start seeing.
And a lot of the books I'm reading are written like only 100 years after Jesus lived.
Right. We're in that time frame when it was fresh. Right. You're in from 0 to 350. It makes sense. And then all of a sudden, all this stuff just goes and disappears, and we're going this way. I mean, what is that all about? Leave it out there. Wait, let the people decide what they want to find. What is this? So, it rings bells to whatever we've been doing for the last 10 years, looking at all this corruption. I mean, and it makes sense. It fits right in. It goes with the flow, man.
And just to reiterate, these letters were written in the year 2000.
Right, it was before 9/11 too.
Before 9/11, and a lot of this stuff lines up with books that were written like 1,700 years ago. If you want to keep reading, we're on page 13.
That's telling too, because this I think came down right before 9/11 happened.
Right. I don't think that's a coincidence either, because this knowledge coming out,
coming down the pike, man.
We need to be distracted immediately. Maybe. I mean, I'm just speculating there, but I can tell you that this stuff really...
And I tell you, when you first get exposed to the recorder story, but you read it a couple of times, and you could start. I mean, you could start to understand it, especially when you start looking into, like you did. Well, we're very fortunate to have Mike, because he plowed through. This is just he did this 2 months ago. And went over it 5 times. So, and then he went to all these other books that were written in that time frame, and all these pieces start getting thrown at you, and then you start tying this into that, and then Lenny just keeps hearing it in the AA books from 1938, which the Oxford group walked into that, and then you hear Carl Jung's name mentioned in a lot of this stuff. So he's connected in there too, and he was with the alcoholics helping them out. And the Rockefellers come up because they're the ones who was trying to do that article and get their money involved in the place. And then they came up with the traditions to not let them guys in. And they had a big thing in like 1940, what they were going to do, how we're going to handle this. It's like amazing. It's amazing how the code just keeps coming back. It just circles through time. And if the right people open their minds at the right time, they end up writing a book like Alcoholics Anonymous and saving 20 million people. You got to want it, though. You got to go search for this stuff.
You got to be willing to search for it.
Yeah, you got to just not shut your mind
enlarge
down.
Your spiritual life.
Right.
You got to want to enlarge your spiritual life.
So the divine creative mind is the big deal.
I want to read something real quick. This is the Gospel of Thomas, verse 77. Jesus said, I am the light that is over all things. I am all. From me all came forth, and to me all attained. Split a piece of wood, I am there. Lift up the stone, and you will find me there. Kind of saying that within all living things is divine consciousness. That's the way I interpret that. And when you split a piece of wood, so there is nothing that doesn't have divine influence over it.
So that's why, I mean, that's why when you look at the Old Testament with all that sacrifice of animals, it's kind of like contrary to what's being said, right? I mean, wouldn't you make that connection? Because other people have. This is not like, oh, some big thing that nobody's talking about. I've been reading about it for weeks, people and accounts, and they start growing, and you start getting information about this, that, the other thing. And it makes sense, like it doesn't seem like it lines up correct with what he's saying.
Well, what better way to make light of a horrible situation than label it as animals? Like we're sacrificing animals, but really what you're doing is sacrificing souls.
Right. It doesn't seem right. It doesn't
Of
seem
God's
like
creation.
that's what he's about. So when people look at things and they're like, well, that's why they're thinking. That gets them thinking, and other people be like, that's hearsay or whatever. Like it's like you can't win. Meanwhile, I guess you just stick to what it's saying, right? Manifest good, brotherly love. Don't look at garbage all day. And it definitely ain't saying kill things to make yourself feel better. Or I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna find that in there. So I mean, stuff like that just makes me think.
The last one I'm going to read, and this is completely related to what Lenny was saying. Jesus said, this is verse 5 from the Gospel of Thomas. Jesus said, know what is in front of your face, and what is hidden from you will be disclosed to you. For there is nothing hidden that will not be revealed, and there is nothing buried that will not be raised. So no matter how hard they try to hide this, it will come out. No matter how many times they try to stop AA, it'll come out. No matter how many times they try to bury these letters, it will come out. No matter how many times they bury this actual text I'm reading you is from the Nag Hammadi that was buried in a desert in Egypt in a clay jar.
Really?
And then it was, yes, what I just read to you, Jesus said, know what is in front of your face, and what is hidden from you will be disclosed to you. For there is nothing hidden that will not be revealed, and there is nothing buried that will not be raised.
Wow.
So that's why we got this, and it may have took us a little while.
I keep hearing that name too. That what did you say?
Gospel of Thomas, which is actually Didymus Thomas, which is Jesus's brother.
Mahadi or whatever.
Nag Hammadi is the books that they found in a clay jar in the middle of Egypt in 1945.
Yeah, I keep hearing about that.
Yeah. So, and those are the texts that I just read you from the Gospel of Thomas, which some scholars believe is around 2nd or 3rd century. And it was hunted down and burned. And people that were teaching it weren't allowed to teach it anymore.
Unbelievable.
So, all right. So we're on page 13, and thanks to everybody who's joining us. I'm seeing we got a nice amount of viewers now on I think that's X. I'm pretty sure. All right. So page 13. I was filled with praise that everything in the world was out of and yet within this superlative creative power of divine minds. I marveled at all this secret activity forever taking place in all things, including human bodies, and wondered how it was that such an infinitely small units worked intelligently according to the specified plans to produce unerringly the proposed form: tree trunk, leaf, flower, fruit, insects, birds, animals, and human bodies. I then realized even more clearly that the creative power was the very source of all intelligent activity in the universe. If mankind possessed intelligence, it was only because he had drawn it from the universal source of all being. So the fact that you even have intelligence proves that you have received that from the Father. Furthermore, I was shown that the divine creative power always worked according to certain fundamental and exact principles of construction. I was shown that just as men have clear characteristics and a well-defined nature in their self-preservation to the world at large, so did the creative power possess a clearly defined nature, distinct characteristics which could be clearly recognized in the matter that all living things, plants, animals, birds, men, were constructed and maintained. I saw that these principles and characteristics clearly observable in the process of creation were set, invariable laws governing all existence. These laws are so much part of life that they are never questioned. They are undeviating and consistent, but there would be no such laws if there were no creative intelligent power manifesting itself throughout the universe. These principles of creation, the characteristics of the creative power itself, are as follows. I am translating them into your present tense because these principles are eternal. So then he goes into the actual laws of the divine creative consciousness, and this is where you actually can be in the flow and have this creative power that's not really of your own. That these aren't your powers.
How many laws are there?
There's about 8. I wrote them all down. I actually went in my binder and I wrote every single one down after I read them all, because I thought this was very important, this part where we actually are going to learn what are the flow of the Father. Really, this is it. So
yeah, this is a lot. I mean, we'll be here all night, man. We've been going 2 hours already.
If you want, we'll stop here and we'll
It's
pick
a
up
great
the laws.
place to stop, but I mean, we do have
Thursday.
some time, but yeah, and that gives everybody time to read that. I mean, I would think you do 13, 15, 17. What 17, baby? Wait a minute, 17.
You know what? I like stopping on, you know what? I like stopping on 13. I actually really like that.
We got to get to 17.
And I won't tell you why. I won't tell you why I like the number 13. 17. I'll leave that to you to find out.
17.
No, not 17, 13.
All right, I said 17. 19. Yeah, I know. He's so mean. 18. Yeah, so there you go. 13, 15, and 17.
So I like the Thursday nights thing. I think we should do the Jesus Letters Thursday night. I think maybe we could do a more general show at some point. You know, I mean, I like just talking about what's going on or whatever you guys want to talk about. If you want to do a little AA stuff or something, I'm totally down to just sit back and listen. The only reason I'm taking the lead on this is because I read them all. But you guys really
but you read all the other stuff around this too. This didn't just this led. I mean, this was the first thing, and then it led you all over the place to a lot of different stuff.
And it confirmed everything I read in these letters.
Right, and you just start. Of course, it always just going to start looping on each other.
And all the things we see
evergreen content, baby.
You know, Lenny posts a lot of this stuff on Dr. Rico. Let me put your thing up here. So you go to Dr. Rico and Mike Motorbike, but Dr. Rico, he's been tweeting stuff that all kinds of accounts are saying about a lot of this hidden knowledge. Like
that Max Peen or whatever the heck that account, that other one, Vegas Star
talking about
unbelievable.
Book of symbolism and all this, and I'm like, they flip through the book quick, and I'm like, and all those symbols.
And it's amazing. Like, I'll be talking to this guy on text and sending things, and it's what they're it's just too funky, man. Otherwise, you get your mind blown. You know, it's like that consciousness that just locks you in, and that's it. It doesn't matter where they are. They could be in London.
All around the world, there's people discovering.
They're feeling some Jesus over there, you know, because it's like, you know, you could see it forming around you. It's something is going down, right? Everybody kind of.
Something's happening. That there's, you know, and we've been waiting for this great awakening for a while, and I guess we didn't realize how big it was. Like they said, right? It's bigger than you could imagine. And this is huge information. This isn't just we got corrupt people in the government. This is. You know, this is humongous. Really.
They've lied since inception.
How about the whole Social Security thing? Like, and the laws of the water, and now Trump is switching it to the laws of the land, and like there is a vast.
This is plan. A deep.
I mean, like
deep
people who think that this has just happened fluidly with no plan. Really, I see how you lost, because we don't even get to this point without a tippy top plan.
Tippity top.
Tippity, like shit. And I tell you, it had to do with they must have turned it over to God and said, "Please help us," because we could see the writing on the wall that it's not going to end well for us. And this is the best version, I think. I mean, that's what I got out of this. That we're just lucky to be alive, man.
We're not lucky. We're not lucky. I believe Father is protecting us.
Exactly. Thank God there was an intervention because it's just like that guy Pedersen said. It's that incremental 1,000 little steps you don't even notice it. Before you know it, you're just trapped. And I think
I'm not trapped.
That's where we were as a country. No, but
I'm
we're
free, baby.
I'm free. Right. But there's a lot of people that don't realize that, it isn't just a fluid continuum of just, what are we doing next? Like, a fire drill. This is pretty planned, incremental, walking the dog things that are happening at this point.
Well, like I've been saying before, I mean, if you could find your inner peace, if you could start,
enjoy the
this
show,
is one
man.
thing. This is one thing I want to just leave everybody with is start appreciating silence. Really, turn the phone off, turn off the music, and try to get yourself to some quiet and some peace, and you'll start. It's going to do so much for you because this world is just made to distract you. Like you were saying earlier, Lenny, how the heck are you going to have time to contemplate on something as profound as these letters or any of these things if you're constantly bombarded?
Got to find the time. You're right.
You got to find that time. Carve it out. You deserve it. You deserve the time to sit there and just think and just be at peace. And that's the best advice I could give. I mean, that's big, and it's hard nowadays. And you're a special person if you can find it. And
Start to light.
You will find it.
Nardo, the greatest.
Yeah, like even if you're in the car, right? You could shut the radio off. Like you got a nice 20-minute ride. You don't have to blast that music in your mind. Like when you do that the first couple of times, and then you get those songs, and you're like, wow. Like you said, the quiet, it adjusts you. Like you look for that instead of that rattling noise. And some of those songs you listen to, you don't even realize, they get you amped up.
Yeah, sometimes some songs bother me. It's almost like static. It's like,
right.
Like I just want to just be at peace and not listen to anything. Right. And it's funny, the car makes noise. The water heater makes noise. My computer makes noise. My phone makes everything's noise. It's like today I was dreaming I could just walk in the middle of like the woods and just get the heck away. And that's funny because now I actually look forward to silence. It's I think that's part of it too.
All right, Mike. Lenny, you want to close us out with something or a song or something?
I'm good, man.
Got nothing.
We've been rocking for a while. I mean, if you want to play some music on the outro, it's cool.
If we end it now, it's under 2 hours. So
right. Yeah.
Maybe we should just sign on off.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll play a little. Lenny, your song got cut off before you said?
Yeah, play one of the songs. You got a couple of minutes.
You played it.
But you said it cut off.
Yeah, let me see. Throw this one up there. Can't get it up. This one. Yeah, that's the stage. Yeah.
We'll see you next week. We're going to go Thursday for this kind of stuff. We're going to try to figure out the plan for other days. Thank you for joining us. You follow us on YouTube, Spotify, TikTok, Twitter, Rumble, and everything else. And one of the greats down there, Lenny V and Mike Motorbike 35, signing off.
Don't be late, it's already said. Tie my shoes while I'm out the door. Same old song, but I've heard it before. Step to the left, step to the right. Catch that beat, everything's alright. Little bit wrong, little bit right. Still gonna dance. day and just another day in the life. Oh yeah, skanking through the trouble, don't care. Got that upstroke feel in the air. Let it bounce, let it take me there. Just another day in the life. Alright, sun goes down, but the moon stays bright. Every little thing gonna be just fine when the rhythm hits on the offbeat time. Woo! Boss man talking, but I drift away, thinking about the band gonna play tonight. Clock hands moving way too slow, but my head's in a different show. Lunch break walk with a swinging step, hear that rhythm, yeah, it ain't left yet. City noise got a ska backbeat, turn the whole block to a dance floor street. Lean with the groove, don't you fight, every little thing gonna line up right. Wrong or right, day or night, we keep it moving in black and watch another day in the life. Oh yeah, skanking through the trouble, don't care. Got that upstroke feel in the air. Let it bounce, let it take me there. Just another day in the life. Alright, sun goes down, but the moon stay bright. Every little thing gonna be just fine when the rhythm hits on the offbeat time. Pick it up, arms on the rise. Feel that jump, no compromise. Kick and snare, gonna hold it tight while the guitar chops all night. Whoa, don't slow down. Spin that trouble right around. Whoa, hear that sound, lift your feet up off the ground. Just another day in the life, oh yeah. Turn it up, let it fill the air. Every step got a groove to share. Feel that bounce everywhere. Just